Before you begin, you might want to grab a blanket or a towel and a strap of any kind. We're going to begin in Tadasana, or mountain pose. Begin by really anchoring your feet into the ground. Feel the energy from the ground up to your thighs, your hips, your spine, up to the crown of your head. Your hands may stay onto your side, or you can turn your palms forward. Take a couple of breaths here and continue honoring yourself and your practice. From here, be sure to point your knees and your toes forward with your feet hip width apart. Inhale, and on your exhale, begin to bend your knees, your hips, if you're sitting into a chair. Be sure to keep your chest open. Your hands may come forward, reaching up to the sky, or you may want to include a mudra of your preference here. A mudra you can include is the Anjali mudra. Bringing your hands into your heart center, you may stay here or spread your fingers into the lotus mudra, keeping your thumbs and pinky fingers still touching. The lotus mudra calms the mind and reminds us of the natural beauty of the lotus, still persevering in muddy waters. Stay here for a couple of breaths, up to 5 breaths, or more if possible. You're really working your hamstrings and your quadriceps here. As you begin to transition out of your chair pose, begin to point your feet outward. Keeping your feet still hip distance apart, begin to squat down into the garland pose, Malasana, a super great hip opener for those of us that are sitting all day. Bring up awareness into your feet and consider placing a towel under your heels. Your spine remains neutral, continuing to breathe from your belly and engaging your abdominals. Your palms can come together into Anjali Mudra as elbows begin to press against your knees. Take a couple of breaths here. Begin rotating your spine to the left, reaching your right arm to your right and extending left arm up to the sky, making sure you're on the same plane. Be playful with your movement. Imagine you're a happy squirrel playing in the sweet green grass on a sunny day. Rotate back to center and begin rotating to your right. Reaching your left arm to the ground and extending right arm over, reaching for the sky. Breathe in. Exhale as you come back to the center. Reach arms back into your bottom and move your legs from side to side, stretching here a little bit. Really massaging your legs and your hips. Still be playful with your movement. In this sitting position, we're going to set our arms back, keeping our chest up and a neutral spine. Begin to bring your feet up from your mat into a boat pose, Navasana. Your legs may be closer to you as you hold them, or you can extend them up while also extending your arms forward as well as engaging your abdominals, not forgetting to breathe. Try to hold this position for about 5 breaths, really feeling what feels great to you in whatever position, whether your arms are down, holding your legs, or forward. Start to feel the burning in your abdominals. You may bring your feet down, back into your mat, and place your arms behind you, coming into a reverse plank. But before that, we will come into a reverse tabletop position. You may stay in a reverse tabletop position or begin to extend your feet forward one at a time to come into a full reverse plank. You can also take this plank from your elbows. You want to be really engaging your core here. stay here for about 5 breaths. You may move out of a reverse plank and come back into a seated position. Extend your feet and flex your feet towards you, moving into a seated forward bend. You want to start hinging from your hips, moving forward while being aware of not rounding your back. If this isn't possible to do, you may bend your knees or use a strap around your feet to be able to reach. This will be a little longer, taking about 5 breaths, or longer if it feels good for you, into this seated bend. Once you're ready, you may come back into a seated position. You want to bring the soles of your feet together and begin to open up your hips. Here you can massage your feet or even open up your feet like a book, one toe at a time. Really focusing on that and strengthening your concentration. In Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose, or butterfly pose, you will interlace your fingers and grab onto your feet. Breathe as you start to bring your chest forward, leaning into your feet. You may stay here for about 10 breaths or however feels comfortable to you, and then come back into a seated position. For this seated position, we'll go over into a seated twist. Folding and bringing your left foot under your right thigh, and bringing the right foot over, bringing your left arm over the right foot, and twisting from the torso, your gaze following, and remember not to round your back. Breathe in and come back to center. Now the other side. Bring your right foot under your left thigh and left foot over. Extend your right arm over and begin the seated twist, remembering to breathe here and remembering not to round your back. Take a couple of breaths here and come back into center, extending your feet in front of you. Flex your feet towards you, moving into a seated forward bend. Fold your hips and stretch forward into your feet. Remember that you may bend your knees or use a strap around your feet to be able to reach. Take about 10 breaths here, or longer if you can.